What is good, internet? It is Spirit of Paradox here, and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing my Predator Killer of Killers spoiler review, and in this video we're going to go in depth throughout the film, and we're also going to give our opinions. One thing I also want to mention as well, when I was ranking the Predator movies in my last Predator review, I did not mention Prey. I completely forgot to add that to the list. Yeah, Prey was alright. I thought it was an okay movie. I didn't really like the design of the Predator in Prey, but I thought it was decent. Nothing too crazy, but I thought it was decent. But yeah. So when it comes down to Predator Killer of Killers, the first section of the movie is called The Shield. And in this part of the movie, we follow the main protagonist of Ursa. So this is set in the Viking era, and Ursa is on a warpath to get revenge. So Ursa is getting revenge on basically a long decade feud with this other man who had defeated her clan in the past when she was a child, and the man who defeated her clan made her either she had to kill her father to survive, or he would kill his daughter and her father. So Ursa is on a revenge path to get back at him for basically making her kill her father as a child. And when they go to these different places to find this guy, it is basically action madness. Like, you see loads of people getting cut up. Like, you see one person get interrogated, like hung up to a tree and then cut up into pieces to get information on him, or on the guy that they're trying to find, I should say. It's brutal in the first, well, I'd say this whole section of the film was pretty brutal, to be honest, because it's just fighting and gore all the way through. So they basically interrogate this guy. He gives away their location, and basically, before he's gonna die, he's shouting how the boy, Ursa's son, Andreas, forgot to mention him, he's along for the ride to get revenge as well. And basically, Ursa tells her son to kill this prisoner, and the prisoner is shouting how he won't be able to go into Valhalla if he kills an unarmed prisoner. And Ursa, his mother, basically sees that and kills the prisoner herself. And then they finally get to the base with the guy that they're trying to find. And when they get to this base, like, bro, it is just nuts. Like, they just go in straight in from the front gate, killing anybody they see who was working in this facility. And they pretty much kill all of the bad guys in this base. And the last man standing is the person that they're trying to get revenge on. So Ursa walks into his, like, house or hut kind of building and makes herself known. She's saying she's Ursa, the daughter of Aina, and basically this old man, because they're all old at this point, so Ursa looks like she's a 50-year-old woman, and this guy should be older. And so she basically has had this revenge, or this wanting to get revenge on this guy ever since she was a child. So she's been waiting a long ass time to get this brother. And he's an old man, like grey hair and all. And then she, as I said, introduces herself and makes herself known to him, to this man. And he's like, what? Like, who? Yeah, I think that was the word. He was like, who? I don't know who you are. And then she basically reaffirms herself, and then he interrupts. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. You're that scared little child who killed her own father or something like that. And he basically is just bad mouthing off to this woman because he basically knows he's gonna die. And he's just insulting her, and that. And then her son, Andreas, cuts off his head in mid speech, which was pretty cool. After this guy's been killed now, this is when the Predator gets involved into this part of the story. and it seems to be a super predator that we saw in Predator 2018. That's the one I don't like. I do like the super predator's design in that movie. It was like a Hulk. Like if you think Hulk, but instead he has a predator head instead, it kind of had that kind of muscular build. And that's all I kept thinking about. Was this the super predator or strain? As we do know, there are different kinds of predator, or yautja, I should say. You know, some of them are more like the traditional jungle hunter we saw in the first two films, and then we saw the different kinds, or like the berserker, falcon, and the tracker from Predators, which I also really liked. And then we also had Predator 2018. So we've also had, oh, and Prey. I can't forget about Prey as well. Really ugly design. And I mean, when I mean by ugly, it's like not cool, is what I mean by that, but still. So I do know there's been different kinds of breeds of Yautja. So in the first section, it looks like it's one of the bigger ones, right? And he's got this supercharged cannon hand, right? And he charges it up. So it looks like this predator in the first section of the movie has lost his hand in combat, and he is like a cybernetic sonic cannon hand that he charges up, and then he just punches people and sends them flying. So Ursa and her son and her men and her people, I should say, they all see that this predator is in the room after it decloaks itself, and they all try to go at it head on. And I gotta say that they went out like badasses. Brutal ways to go, but like they went in regardless if they thought they were gonna die. And like these Vikings, like, they know how to fight. So like everybody in Ursa's clan is basically just getting picked off in this room. When this is all set in one room, it's set in this guy's house they went to go get revenge on. And one by one, this predator is just killing off each member of Ursa's team. And then Ursa tries to get a few hits in, it don't work. And then like her son Andreas shoots it with an arrow, and then he tries to go for the boy, and then that Ursa gets involved, and then the predator shoots its cannon at Ursa, causing like the whole wall behind her to like cave out, and she gets thrown off a cliff and then like falls into ice cold water at the bottom. Which I thought was bullshit, because it's like, bro, hypothermia would have killed this woman. But because it's animated, I'll let it slide. But it's like, bro, there is no way you could stay underwater for that long. Like, even before when the predator gets into the water with her, it's like, you would have died way quicker than that. Even if you're Norwegian. And I'd see some Norwegian people jump into ice cold water, but when you've got ice cold water with ice that's about 6 to 7 inches thick above that water, you damn well know you can't be swimming in that. But anyway, she falls, gets sonic cannoned out of the building, and then tries to hang on to the piece of the cliff, right? Or she grabs onto like a rock on the cliff, and then she falls into the water. And that, basically, before the predator gets down to the bottom of the cliff, we don't see it, but it seems like the predator killed off her son off screen, and he's like badly wounded, but we'll get to him in a moment. And then he jumps down, and the reason I keep thinking this predator is the or the same strain or breed of super predator that we got in 2018 is because he's not wearing any armor whatsoever. Like the predator in the first section of the film, it's just like a hulking beast, and he has like the biomask, right? When he gets down, he's trying to use the biomask to find her, but it is damaged slightly because one of her brethren who got killed off by the super predator hit the predator's biomask with the axe. It didn't really do any damage. It like dented it a little bit, but no serious damage. So he can't find Ursa because one, she's under the ice in the water, and it's basically cooling off her heat signature, so he can't see her. and he takes the mask off, and he still can't see her. So what I got a little bit confused about is like, okay, you needed the heat signature biomask, or the infrared on the biomask, so you couldn't see that. Then you use your regular vision, and she's literally standing right underneath the super predator's feet under the ice. She's just like starfish at the top of the ice trying to get some air from an air pocket, right? And then he don't see her. So what my man's doing now, he's charging up his hand cannon, and he's just shooting up all of the wreckage that's around the ice, because where she's fallen off, like, there's bits of crashed boats protruding out of the ice and shit. And basically the predator's just trying to like destroy all of it, because he knows she's there. He knows she's in the area. He just can't find her. But when he's doing this, she finally gets out of the ice cold water. I don't know how she's not shivering from hypothermia, but anywho, she's hiding. As I said, the cannon, or the predator, is using his sonic cannon to destroy different boats around the area. So she's having to move from like boat protrusion to stay alive. Then she gets an idea to like use the anchor on the predator, and it was attached with a chain, tie it up in that, and tried to use its cannon against her, or against it, by the way, trying to use its own cannon against it. My apologies. And it basically works. She gets one of her shields and blocks it, and they basically fall into the ice, and fall into the ice cold water as well. And so the fight between the super predator and Ursa happens underwater in the ice, and she has to think fast because she is freezing, and the predator is trying to get at her. She ties down the predator with the anchor and slows it down, and tries to swim up, but that don't work. The predator just grabs her down, and then this dumbass basically decides to use his hand cannon while it's all chained up underwater and kill her. But what she does, she uses his hand cannon against him again. While he's all chained up and the anchor is right behind him, she basically waits for him to charge his cannon up underwater. Now, when she does this, she gets her shield again, and she basically deflects the sonic boom, and it hits the predator back underwater, and then his head hits like one of the sharp points of the anchor in the back of the head, killing it instantly. And then she basically defeats the predator under ice cold water. How she was even still alive and able to move after being having to dip into ice cold water twice and still fight, I have no idea. But anywho, she finally swims out of the water and climbs back up the cliff to see if her son is still alive, and she finds him on the ground on his back, badly wounded, because the predator obviously murked him before he went down to go finish off his mum and failed to do so. Then he basically has a lot like the last few breaths of life, and he asks his mother, did she kill the monster? And then he dies right after asking that question. And then she's like, no, no, not my son, and she's crying and that. And then all of a sudden, we see her in a different scene with a collar around her neck with these two red lights, and then it fades over to a guy who's sitting down meditating in this room where they've both been captured by the predators. So this brings us on to the second part of the movie, the sword, and this is actually my favorite part of the whole film. So this is set in the 1600s in Japan, and it's about these two brothers who are growing up together, and then they have to go against each other for their father's armor to basically whoever wins in the fight between the two brothers gets to get the title of king, or who will become king, or the official of their time. So it's basically whichever brother wins the fight gets the heritage, basically. One of the brothers says no, I'm not gonna fight my brother, and draws his sword away. And basically, he's like, nah, I'm not gonna fight you. And then the other brother sees his father turn around and put the helmet away, looking somewhat disappointed. I wouldn't say he was disappointed that that one of the brothers refused to fight. Then when the other brother sees his father disappointed, he decides to just switch on his other brother, right? He just switches on him and starts attacking him. And his brother who put his sword down is like, what the fuck? Like, why are you attacking me? Like, what? And then when this happens, he ends up cutting his face. And there's quite an emotional moment because there's no dialogue in this whole part of the film. It's very character driven and emotion driven. Like the emotion that the characters give in this section are really what gets tell the story in this part. So the other brother who switched on the one who refused to fight basically cuts his face, and the one who refuses to fight is like, wow, why did you cut my face? And then he just runs away and never to be seen again. And then he comes back like 20 years later when they're both fully grown men. So the boy who won the fight basically is the new man in charge of like this area, or this kingdom I should say. And the other brother who refused to fight and got his face cut, he comes back, right, as a ninja. And the thing is, one of the Yautja is in the area, cloaked up on one of the towers, and he's just observing. He ain't doing nothing, he's just cloaked, waiting for something to go down. Because when something goes down, the fighting will happen, he'll watch the fight, and whoever wins the fight, he'll fight them. You know, that's what the Predator basically was waiting for. It's like he's waiting for something to kick off. And so, the brother who ran away comes back and sneaks into the fortress. So we see him come back with in a water log, right? This log that's hollow, and he's using it as cover downstream. And when one of the guards in the area is basically taking a piss in the river, he sees the log, right? And then the brother who's hiding underneath it has one of those blow darts where you know when they blow out the dart and you have that knockout poison or that kind of shit there. It knocks out one of the guards. And the thing is, the Predator's watching that, and he's like, fucking finally, something's about to go down. Let me see what my man's doing. So, the brother who's the ninja now, he's sneaking into the base, he's climbing up the walls, and then we just see that this Predator, this new Predator, who is wearing armor and does have more tech this time round. I would say he's more akin to the jungle Predator this time in the second part of the movie in Sword. I would say this is more akin to the jungle Predator, but I could be wrong. Somebody could confirm what this Predator is more akin to, like design wise, but when I saw it, it kind of looked like the jungle Predator, kind of, but I could be wrong. So when we see the brother climbing up one of the walls, the Predator's just watching him. Like, he's cloaked, and he's just watching the brother climb right past him on the wall, and he don't even know he's there. Like, the ninja now, he don't know the Predator was literally, like, half a foot away from him, watching him climb up this wall. So the ninja basically breaks into the fortress, knocks out any of the guards that are on patrol, right? But this part was quite funny. So he climbs up to one of the towers in the fortress, and it has a few guards inside. And he basically is trying to fight all of these guys and knock them out without making any noise. And he puts a lot of effort into this because he's outnumbered, in it. One guy's coming in trying to knock the bell, because he's on a bell tower. And one of the guys is trying to knock the bell. He's trying to stop him. Another guy pulls up and he's like, whoa, I see an intruder. He tries to knock the bell, and the ninja tries to stop him whilst trying to hold the first guy. Then another guy comes in and he tries to ring the bell, but the ninja tries to knock him off the edge. But if he knocks him off the edge, all of the guards at the bottom of the tower who are patrolling the streets would see the guy fall down from the tower. So this ninja is in a really sticky situation. He's trying to fight off 3 guards and trying to stop them from hitting the bell. Too bad for him though. There was another bell tower, and another guard in that bell tower saw him fight those 3 guards and starts knocking on his bell. And the ninja was like, "Ah, oh, for fuck's sake." And I tried so well. That's what he tried to say, but he didn't say it. He was emoting that kind of feeling. It's like, bro, I tried so hard to fight you guys off, and the guy still rang the fucking bell anyway. So basically, he just dropped the guard he was trying to stop from being detected. Basically, he's like, fuck it. Drops him, he falls into his death, and like the other guys, he knocks out, and then he tries to run on top of the buildings, Assassin's Creed style. You want to know something crazy? They should have went with this for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, I don't know whose bloody idea it was to go with Yasuke and all of that. Like, ugh, stupid and disrespectful. Like, they got Assassin's Creed right in this more than bloody Assassin's Creed Shadows. But anywho, so this ninja, or the brother, I should say, finally gets to the main tower where his other brother is. And so, the brother gets to the room, and when they're about to get inside, the tower, as I said, the bell tower's been rung, so the brother he's trying to find goes into the room, and he's like, yo, guards, wait outside, I'm gonna be in my room. But the thing is, the brother, the ninja, he is in the room as well, and he just drops this red smoke dust bomb, or this red smoke bomb, right, on the ground, and kills off all of his other brother's guards, right? And then it's just the 2 brothers. And oh my gosh, I absolutely loved this part of the film. I honestly think it outshined everything in the film, and it had nothing to do with the Predator. These 2 brothers basically have a duel, and they basically fight, sword fight, and it gets really brutal, innit? But the thing is, there's this beam of wood, because like the whole place is made out of wood, but there's this beam, right, and there's this cut in it. So the father basically cut it decades prior to that. But the thing is, after they get into their really cool, intense fight, the ninja brother kicks him on this cut beam. And then basically, when he gets his sword out and cuts his brother's face to basically signify, like, look, we're even now. So the ninja, his brother, wasn't trying to actually kill his brother. He just wanted to best him in a fight. But all the guards, like, they got kill off though, which was kind of peak. Like, yeah, you kill off all the guards, but you don't kill your brother. I respect that. I respect that to an extent. So yeah. So basically, his brother bests him, cuts his face, and is like, I won this time round. We're even now. I'm gonna walk away. But before he could walk away, his brother is on that cut beam that his father did all those years ago, and the beam basically collapsed, and his brother falls off the tower edge all the way to the bottom on the streets, somewhat making it look like he dies. But I'll get to that later. And so the ninja brother is like, no, I didn't mean to kill him. And he's like, what did I just do? I just killed my brother. And he's just having this panic attack. And he's like, I can't believe what I've just done. I've ended my own brother. And then he basically has a breather and recollects his thoughts and like tries to just, stable himself out. And then he looks at this picture of his father, and he's kind of just looking at it with anger and disgust. And then we see like a small little clip of his father looking at him when he was younger. And then we get this little creative cut where his father's looking at him, and then we see the predator's hand come out of his father's mouth, making it look like the predator's about to burst out of his mouth. Like it actually comes out of his mouth in this brief little scene, but it's actually the predator's hand switches to the real scene, and its hand comes out of the painting of his father's face. So but it was a cool little edit. It was a cool little edit there where they got a past clip to make it look like Predator's hand actually coming out of his mouth, and then it switches quickly to the painting of the Predator's hand coming out of the painting. So I really liked that little scene there. And this is when the Predator's like, alright, cool. You're the guy I want to kill. You've basically killed off all of these guards and defeated your brother. Yep, you're the guy. So basically now, throughout the rest of this episode, or this part of the movie, I should say, the Predator's trying to hunt him down. But the guy knows, or the ninja brother knows, he can't fight this creature. Like, he's trying his best to go at it, but he just knows this creature is too strong for me to fight. Let me get the guards. So basically, when he tried to stop the guards from intervening from fighting his brother, he tries, by like closing the door, he tries to open up the door to get the guards to help him now, because he's like, bro, no, I can't fight this guy on my own. And the guards are like, nah, bro, we're gonna fight you. And then the ninja brother has to put this red smoke down because he thinks, oh, maybe they'll help him, but they're like, nah, we're gonna kill you first. But obviously, he throws down the red smoke and gets away. Then these guards who thought they were gonna get him, the ninja brother, right? They walk into the Predator. And oh my gosh. So if you've seen the trailers, this is the part you've seen, where we see this Predator kill off all of these guards. I think it's like 3 or 4 guards, right? Kills them all off. But my favorite kill was when he threw the spear, and then the spear opens up, cutting the guy in two. I loved that part. That was a really cool kill there. And basically, the Predator's like, well, I've just killed off all of the guards. Where's my man gone? Where's the ninja guy gone? And the ninja guy's covered his face up. He's all covered in black clothing, innit? All black, dressed in black and all of that. And he thinks, because he's dressed in black, that's gonna help him. Nope. No. That don't help at all. So the Predator sees this ninja brother through his heat vision with his biomask, and I think the character basically figured out, the ninja brother, he had figured out, alright, cool. This guy knows where I'm going, regardless if I'm using the shadows. Because we see this guy run towards other guards, using them as bait to basically get away from the Predator. Because the Predator, he knows the Predator wants him specifically. He wants the ninja specifically. So he's killing off all of the guards. He's not even keeping trophies. He's after the ninja, and the guy knows that. So he tries to run on top of the roof, you know, trying to take off to the rooftops. No, Predator's catching up to him like it's nothing. He's trying to hide on top of the roof or like under the crevices. So like houses, right? How they're kind of like triangular at the top, and they have like that overhang at the edge, right? So he's trying to hide under the overhang of tiles of where you would normally have the piping. So like the top of the house would be triangular, and at the bottom of the triangular thing you would have the piping that would have the water draining down. So he's hiding underneath that draining pipe on the edge of the house, right? And he's hoping the Predator don't see him. And the Predator is not dumb, so he's waiting for him to move back. He's like, I know you're in the area, dipshit. If I can't see you hiding with my night or with my heat vision or my infrared, I know you're hiding somewhere close. That's what I like about the Predator in these clips. Like even though one of them died in a stupid way in the first part of the film, I still enjoyed it though. But with this guy, the second Predator, he's like, yeah, I'm not done, big man. I know that you know about mastery of disguise and hide in places using smoke bombs to get away from your target. I'm not fucking stupid. I know you're hiding on this roof, nigga. Where are you? That's what the Predator was basically like. And he knew he couldn't stay there for long, so he continues to just run even more. And so basically it gets to the point where he's like, I can't run away from this thing on the roof. I have to jump off this cliff into the water and hope he don't make it all the way down. So Ninja Brother believe falls into the water. Problem is though, the predator followed him down. And the thing is, before the predator follows him and gets to him, the other brother who fell off the tower comes back, and we're all like, all right. I was happy that the brother didn't die from the fall, because it was like, bruh, he didn't want to try and kill his brother in the first place. He didn't deserve to fall off and die. So how he survived that back first, like that's how it was pretty tall. Like it looked like a good high tower. Falling from that tower on your back, you're not going to be able to walk ever again from that fall, if you survive. Like if you survive, you're not walking again. I'm sorry, folks, but I know this is an animated film, but from if you could tell from how tall or how high the tower he fell from, there's no way you'd survive that fall. And if you do, you're never gonna be able to walk or even you'd be paralyzed. You'd just be paralyzed. So him surviving that, yeah, you do have to use your sense of disbelief here, but he survives. So he's still badly wounded from the fall. Like he's beat up from the fall, innit? And basically he wants to try and fight his brother again for a rematch. And then they basically go at it again. But before they can really go at it, the predator catches up to the ninja. And then the predator realizes, oh, you're alive too. Oh, so this could be interesting. I might just kill the both of you. So that's what the predator basically is like. All right, cool. You both are fine warriors, and you survived that fall, big man. You're tough. So basically, now that the brother who fell off the tower realizes, like, yo, like, who the fuck is this thing? They basically realize it's after both of them, and both of the brothers put aside their differences and have to work together. But before this, right before this scene is the brother who fell defends the ninja brother from getting stabbed, and he takes the stab, but he blocks most of the predator's claws, so like the wrist blade that the predator has, the two-bladed wrist blade I'm talking about. So the brother who fell, the one who took on the monarchy or the title of king or whatever, he basically blocks most of that attack from the predator, but some of the blade enters like his stomach and cuts him. But it was quite deep. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Most of that sword or that two wristed blades, they must have been about 12 inches long per blade, because it looked like a good few inches of that was just covered in his blood. So it looked like that blade was quite deep. So he was fatally wounded from that fight, plus falling down maybe 100 feet. Like it looked like 100 foot, that tower, like on his back, and surviving that. That brother was stern. Like no wonder why he's been alive for so long and could survive all of that. But anywho, the two brothers finally decide to put aside their difference and work together. And I think this part was so wholesome of the film for me. It was so wholesome to see two brothers, who had their differences coming together and working with each other. I can relate to that because I have those kinds of problems with my brother as well. And to see two brothers putting aside their differences and coming together and kicking ass, like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And so both of the brothers managed to take down the predator together, and it was a pretty, like, intense fight, really intense. And same with the one from the first section of the film as well. Really intense fights, and basically, the brothers both talk, and right before they have their final talk, the brother who took the blade for his other brother basically dies from his wounds, and the ninja brother is still alive. And then we find out he's also been captured as well from the predators, and he also has that special collar on. Now, this gets us into part 3 of the movie. So, this section of the movie is called The Bullet. And in this part of the film, we follow a character called Torres, who is a young boy who wants to become a fighter pilot. And this is set in 1942. And basically, we see this character introduced in the first scene. He's driving around in a fancy old car near a cornfield and basically messes up the engine from his reckless driving. His father basically is trying to fix the engine. We see some character development between the two, which was quite nice. And basically, his dad was like, yo, there's going to be a time, now the time has come where I can't keep bailing you out. And we see that his son has officially been drafted into the army. And so basically now we see Torres, who wants to become a pilot, is having difficulty even running a plane or to even get it to fly. And while this is all going on, we see that there are other fighter pilots fighting in the war above. And one of the guys who comes down and he's pretty badly wounded and he's shouting, "Hooks in the sky, there's hooks in the sky." And Torres basically goes to see the wreckage of his ship, and we see here's like this chunk of alien metal inside this guy's plane. And then Torres decides to go and play with the fucking thing. And it looks pretty cool. Like, it looks like this golden, like this kind of black and golden artifact. It kind of looks like something you would see out of like Mass Effect or something out of like The Mummy, like some alien hieroglyphic kind of tech, you know, like a Prothean piece of tech or something like that. They look really cool though, but it's a hook to catch prey in the sky. And that's what I really like about this section. Even though I probably would say it's the weakest section of the movie for me, I do enjoy it though. Is we get to see the predator hunt in the sky, and that's something we've never actually got to see before. So we all see that Torres is trying to figure out what this piece of alien tech does, and somehow he activates it and it hooks onto one of the plane's engines and then flies off into the sky going back to the predator ship. And so one of the soldiers in charge was basically telling Torres, you better get that engine running on the other plane that he had difficulty running earlier. And that character is actually voiced by Michael Biehn. I could tell by the sound of that voice. My favorite role for Michael Biehn is actually from Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon when he plays Sergeant Rex Power Cult. Yeah, like that was a badass like standalone DLC. I kind of wish we got a sequel to that, but anywho. Um, so yeah, we see Michael Biehn playing one of the soldiers or one of the pilots of the team. And when Torres is basically finally getting the plane to work, he's trying to get the word out to the other pilots that, yo, there is an alien spaceship out there hunting you guys off. You need to get back to base. But by the time they all figure it out, they all want to go and fight it. So each one of the good pilots or one of the ally soldiers and the pilots, or the planes even, get picked off one by one by the plane. And I would say some of these kills are very creative. Like we see some guys get burnt alive by the predator's jet exhaust. We see the that hook, not the net, not the hook, that predator net that we all know and love, you know, the one that when it contracts it cuts anything that's caught inside of the net to pieces. Like, yeah, we saw one of the planes go out that way and one of the pilots just get cut up into pieces as well. It was really nuts watching that part. So there was definitely a lot of action in Predator Killers, the Bullet. Is a lot of that plane action, and I thought it was really well done and very entertaining. I do think, though, some of Torres's maneuvers were a bit unrealistic, like the whole flying onto a city road and then flying the plane completely vertically so you don't crash into any of the buildings on his first go ride. That's a bit unbelievable to believe, but it is animated. And then we had the scene where, because there was some fire on one of his wings, he basically tried to tie up the whole cockpit to do autopilot, and then he climbed out of his the cockpit to go basically deal with the fire on one of his wings. I did hear that that actually did used to happen. That there used to be people on planes who used to do that. If anything bad happened to one of the wings, they would go out onto the plane wing while it's flying and fix the problem. But it was a very dangerous job. But yeah, the people actually used to do that back in the day, like get out mid-flight and fix the wing and go back into the cockpit. Like, that's nuts, but yeah, people used to do that. But him on his first go on flying, not believable, but still. So eventually, it's just Michael Bean's character and Torres are left. These are the only two fighter pilots left fighting as Predator. And Torres gets the idea that he has to keep their planes cool because he figures out the Predator uses heat tracking to get the planes. So they decide to go up into the sky further and further and cool off their engines. But Michael Bean decides to sacrifice himself so Torres could live. And basically he doesn't switch off his engine when it's the right time, and the Predator kills off Michael Bean's character in mid-flight so Torres could get away and finally get some payback. So when Torres's plane gets cooled down, it finally, the Predator can't see his plane and then ignores Torres all of a sudden, just acts like he didn't exist, and then decides to fly back down. But the thing is, Torres is behind the Predator, but the Predator can't see him through the heat vision. So Torres decides to shoot up one of the Predator's exhausts in that, and then it becomes a cat and mouse kind of thing back to back. So like Torres is trying to be the cat, and the Predator becomes the mouse, and then eventually the Predator becomes the cat, and then Torres became the mouse, and then yeah, Torres managed to eventually kill the Predator off in flight mode, and that using his own plane against him. Using Torres's plane against the Predator, using the hook to basically hook onto his plane and then swing his plane into the Predator's ship, blowing it up, killing the Predator. And then some time passes when he's out on land somewhere. We see that the Predator's ship arrives above him, and we see that, the old school, when aliens are about to invade, you get that beam of light coming down, that circular beam of light that covers the whole character, and they go up into the beam into the ship. Yeah, we got that kind of lighting there again. And then Torres is the last person to be captured by the Predator. And so, all three of these characters are all caught with these collars on, and they're all captured by the Predator. But the thing is, they're all from different points in time. So like Ursa was from Viking era. This in the Ninja Brother was from 1600s Japan, and Torres was basically from 1942 Florida. So you could definitely tell like something's up here, and you're like, wait a minute, how are these people all in the same room? And then you start to figure it out. It doesn't tell you just yet, but you start to fill in the blanks yourself. But these people have, or three people I should say, have been captured and by the other predators, and they've been sent to a whole different planet. And this is the character that I was talking about, who makes an entrance in my last Predator review. This seems to be the Predator King, or the Predator Warlord, or the Grendel King. Well, I don't know the official term for this character, but he looks like a king. He's got a Predator mask on, like he's actually wearing a Predator skull. This Predator King or Warlord. And he seems to be a super predator as well. He's like very little armor, but more muscle. And he's really got a cool design. And his cape, right? And the thing is, we've seen this character before. We've seen him in the Predator Badlands trailer. We've seen his back. Or it could be a different Predator rocking his crest. But either way, that crest is the same crest we see in the Predator Badlands trailer. So this guy basically is the king of this area, and he basically tells these three heroes, or these three humans, you must fight to the death, and the last survivor will go against me. And if you do not fight, we'll basically blow your head up. And they basically get like this beaten up bad blood predator, and they basically show a demonstration. They put the collar on and they do a little ritual by cutting their hands for their king, and then they blow up this bad blood predator's head, demonstrating what will happen if these three do not fight each other.
And whilst the king is making his speech, the collars are actually speaking to these three characters in their own respective languages. So one was speaking in English, the other one was speaking in Japanese, and the other collar was speaking in Norwegian for Ursa. So they all got the message pretty clear. And what happens next is Ursa understands the point very clear. She tries to kill the the ninja brother and Torres, and basically the ninja guy doesn't want to fight her. He's trying to explain to her, but because they don't speak the same language and the collar won't translate for them, they can't really communicate what they're trying to get across. So Ursa is just going all out, trying to murder the both of them. And Torres, oh no, I completely forgot. I'm missing a section. Before they get to the fight, actually, they get weapons from their respected clans. So, like, Ursa got a shield, and the ninja brother got a samurai sword, and Torres got a musket. The one similar to the one from Predator 2 at the very end, or at the very end of Prey. So, Torres gets the musket, and then the fighting, as I was talking, commences. Torres is trying to communicate how they could try to get the collars off and yada yada yada. But Ursa is just full of rage. Like, she's lost everybody. She's lost her clan. She's lost her son. She just wants to die in battle so she can go to Valhalla. But the other two don't want to fight her. So what happens is the king sees that Torres is not trying to fight them. So he calls in this giant alien creature. It's not a xenomorph, but it kind of looks like a lizard with giant tusks. And like really cool tusks and that. And basically, one of the predators gets knocked away. That the predator that opens up the door for it to enter the arena gets knocked away and then falls into another creature's mouth. And basically, Ursa and the samurai, or the ninja guy, I should say, them two basically work together in taking out this creature with these tusks, and they take it out pretty cool as well. Like, you see it, like, you see the belly get cut open, they cut up the throat and that. Like, they start working together to take down this big creature. And the thing is, Torres has been consumed by it. Like, he's been eaten by it. He's still alive, he's just in the creature's stomach. And basically, he's trying to get to the predator's arm. So the predator that ate the creature that ate the predator earlier, his arm was still intact, and he still has that wrist blade gauntlet thing to basically deactivate the collar. But basically, they don't get that through. They think Torres is dead after he got yammed up by the creature. They think he went the same way as the predator before him. But what happened is, after they kill the creature with Torres inside, they send it back inside of the base, and Torres manages to cut himself out of it and gets onto a vehicle. But as Ursa and the ninja bro are basically fighting each other, we see him put his sword down and explain, like, yo, I will not fight you. Do what you have to do and let me join my brother. So it was really an emotional scene. But Ursa was basically like, pick up your sword and fight me. I can't go to Valhalla if you don't fight back. So they basically wanted to die, but the methods, due to their cultures, they have to die a certain way to go into the afterlife, basically. And it was a really deep and emotional moment because they basically have nothing left and they don't even care about fighting the king, the Predator King. So, but as this is about to go down, the Ninja Bro is basically gonna accept his fate of the collar exploding. And right before the detonation goes off, the bomb stops. And then Torres busts out of one of the buildings that one of the doorways that holds the creatures from the arena. He comes out on this Predator hoverbike and he basically is like, yo, I managed to get the collar to deactivate the bombs and that now you can take them off. And then they basically get on this hoverbike with Torres and they try to go fight the Predator King 3-on-1. And this part was pretty cool, I must say. All three decide to go up against the King Predator, and basically they all get their butt kicked because they're no match for the Predator. And especially with the King, he seems like he's the most experienced because the thing is, they're all using weapons against the King Predator. He's not using his against them. He's just using hand-to-hand combat, and they're coming up against him with their with his sword or with her shield, and he's basically just knocking them over with the briefest of ease. Like with ease, he's just knocking them over, sending them flying, not really doing any serious damage, but basically showing them like, you're not a threat to me even if I'm outnumbered. So I really like that it showed how much of a threat this Predator King is, or Warlord, or whatever. So basically, Torres decides to go and climb into the Predator King's ship so they can make a getaway. And Ursa and the ninja work together again against the King Predator and manage to deal some damage to him, but they don't actually manage to kill him or do any fatal wounds. And when Torres somehow manages to work the Predator spaceship, he's trying to call out to them, come on, let's go. And as Ursa has to pick up the Ninja Bro because he got kind of beat up from the King Predator sees Ursa and the ninja leaving. So he picks up his like bone axe. Looks like it's made out of a bone, like of a creature's pelvis, and you just threw the spear axe pelvis thingy. But I don't know. It looks like a creature's pelvis, but it looks like a long axe as well. Yeah, he just throws it in between Ursa and the ninja, and it completely severs the ninja guy's right arm. I believe it was his right arm, completely cutting it off. He survives though. He survives, but he ain't gonna have another arm for the rest of his life because he don't pick it up as well. So they have his arm. And the thing is, they tried to make a getaway, but the predators had that technology with the hook, like we saw in part 3, the bullet with the planes and that. They used the same hook technology to prevent the predator ship from leaving. And Ursa basically makes a decision to sacrifice herself because she sees this hook can't be undone by hitting it with her shield. So she decides to go and sacrifice herself and go down and abseil down this hook or this chain and basically destroy the machine that is keeping the ship from getting away. And she does so successfully. And the hook basically unhooks from the ship and she basically gets captured afterwards. But the thing is, the predators don't actually kill her after what she's done. They just put her back on stasis again. And what happens next is the Predator King sees that Torres is gone with his ship. He basically lets his entire clan know and says, let's go hunting in his Yautja language. And basically, all of the predators, all of the other Yautja, I should say, and their ships go after Torres and the ninja in their spaceship. And basically, that's the end of that scene. We don't get to see what happens with Torres and that, but we go to another scene. And this is the final scene of the movie, where we basically cut to Ursa back in cryo again, so it confirms that yes, they have been in cryogenesis or cryostasis, sorry, for for hundreds of years. And then we begin to see the predators have like a vault room with hundreds of these stasis pods, and you could basically have different characters from different periods. You could have different alien creatures that have fought the Predator. But the thing is, this could open up the gates for one, for Dutch to come back, but I'll get to that later. But the thing is, we get to see another stasis pod, and we see the main protagonist of Prey in a stasis pod, confirming that the predators also have captured her as well. So if you've seen Prey, the main girl from that movie, she is also alive and is the final shot of Predator, Killer of Killers. And that is how the movie basically ends. So, that was the whole story of Predator Killer of Killers, and I do have my own little questions, and I'm going to give off my last thoughts on the movie. So, knowing now that all of these characters were put into stasis right after they defeated their predators, does that mean Dutch could possibly return, or any of the characters in a prior Predator film, could they be possibly able to return when you know that we've got this whole stasis ritual going on with these Yautja? Another thing as well, we did get to see the protagonist of Prey in the last movie. She was the very last shot of the film. I wonder what she could possibly be doing in the future of the franchise as well. We might even see her pop up in Predator Badlands for all we know. And another thing that I really want to know more about, because I really liked this aspect of the movie, and that was the Yautja King, or the Yautja Warlord, or the Grendel King. I've been hearing different names for this character from multiple people across the community. I'm not too sure which one is the official term, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him in Predator Badlands now, because his presence was just amazing for me. I just absolutely loved his presence, the way he spoke, and just how he fought the protagonist in this film, completely barehanded as well. I want to see more of this character. Another thing that I liked about this film as well is the animation style. There are some points in this movie where I feel the frame rate does dip dramatically, because I watched this on my PlayStation 5 on Disney Plus, and then I watched it on my TV on Disney Plus, and the frame rate is just a part of the actual film, the frame rate dips. So there is some frame rate dips throughout the film every once in a while, but they're very hard to notice unless you've got a very keen eye to animation. And what I liked as well about this film was we got to see three different predators in three different scenarios, and it also was very respectful to the source material as well, and also adding in something new. I liked that we got to see one of those super predators from the Predator 2018. You know, I really did like that design, I just didn't like the rest of the film. Um, so we got to see that design come back. Then I guess we saw a mixture of the jungle predator and a mixture of the predator from Prey, kind of a mixture between those two in design. And then we got a whole new predator design and a whole new predator style, with a Yautja hunting in the skies in its like jet, it's spaceship. Yeah, I believe it's a spaceship. You know, and instead of collecting skulls, they collect engines from different planes that they fight against. So we got to see lots of new things in this movie, and I really do appreciate it, and it made me enjoy the movie even more so. Now, let's talk about the things that I didn't like about the film. There was a lot of unrealistic parts about this film, but then again, this is an animated movie. I guess with animation, you can, you know, go a little bit more crazy with it. But when I saw Ursa in the first part of the film fighting the Predator in freezing cold water under really thick ice, it was just like, Madam, you are an old woman. You can't be out here doing these things. And especially with the Yautja, or the super predator at the time, or the one that she was fighting, wasn't very smart, and he was over reliant on brute strength. I kind of thought predators were supposed to be like some of the best hunters in the galaxy, but they get taken out by little old ladies in freezing cold water. It's just a little bit ridiculous there. But overall, I did enjoy that part of the film because of the brutality that we got and the action that we got from it. So there is a trade off there. And also, what I liked about what I didn't like, sorry, about the film was they were short. A lot, they were really short. I would say they were about 20 to 25 minutes a piece, but I would have preferred like an anthology series than a film, because maybe if we went in an anthology series, maybe we could have gotten like a 1 hour animation for each era, but nah, they didn't go that route, and I think it could have been for the better, because I think this movie was mainly supposed to be an appetizer than a full-fledged film. I think it was supposed to be like, hey, try this out. This is a little taster for what we got coming in the future. Tell us what you think, and we'll see what we can do for you in the future, kind of deal. That's what I felt with this movie. So, even though I wish we could have gotten longer or like more longer times with each era, it does make sense on why they did go this route. Another thing that I didn't like about this movie was in part 3, and that would be the bullet, is Torres's character. Basically, this guy has little to no experience in flying a plane, and he's able to take out a well seasoned Yautja that's probably been hunting in the sky for hundreds of years, because predators age a lot more, or predator lifespan, sorry, are a lot more longer than humans. So these guys are professional hunters in their field, and to see that this kid, basically, who's got no experience, managed to do like dodges in the sky. He flew his plane vertically so he didn't crash into any buildings when he got close to the ground in that city. And then he managed to take out the predator with no experience. It's just like, nah. That's that Disney logic, that Disney fantasy logic right there. But yeah, so that kind of stuff there did pull me out of the experience, but I did enjoy it, but not as much as the sword, the second part of the film, which is my favorite part, and followed by that would be the Viking era with Ursa part. I did enjoy the bullet, but it was definitely the weakest aspect of the movie for me. And then we've got the ending part of the movie when we go to the, well, it looks like a world, or the home world of the Yautja, and we go to the Colosseum and we see the Predators and the Predator King. I really did enjoy that, but like I said, I kind of wished we got a little bit more about those predators, like, just learn a little bit more, not too much, but just like added maybe an extra 2 minutes to explain about the Predator King and his people there. But I guess they're gonna wait for that in Predator Badlands, which I am looking forward to seeing. But overall, despite the flaws with this movie, I really did enjoy it, and I think this has become one of my new favorite films in the franchise. I'm gonna put it just behind Predators. I really do enjoy Predators a lot. Even though that movie's just a rehash of the very first, I do enjoy that. And then followed by that would be Prey. And after that would be like Alien versus Predator 1. And then Alien versus Predator 2. So, overall, I really did enjoy this film. I do recommend it. Really liked the animation, really liked the different kinds of Yautja predator that in this film. I think they really did a good job with that as well. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this movie. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? You know what to do in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like. And if you didn't, drop a dislike. That's cool. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.